Welcome to my next video, the second video, which is on the critical appreciation of the essay that I posted earlier, the essay on the problem of evil written by Rabindranath Tagore. Actually, this essay was a lecture delivered by the Gurudev in the Emerson Hall, that is the home of the Department of Philosophy in Harvard University in the year 1913, probably on 15th Feb. Well, he delivered two essays. One is on the topic of the problem of evil and the other on the relation of the universe and the individual. These essays, these were later written down into black and white in his book Sadhana, and it forms a very important part of his philosophy. Okay. As the title of the essay suggests, the problem of evil. Now it consists of problem and evil. So it is very well recognized. Evil is very well recognized by most, if not by everyone, and it is also acknowledged as a problem, a big problem that has been plaguing the progress of humanity towards the path of spirituality, towards the path of selfless service to humanity, and reach a stage when we find happiness for all, instead of engaging in the momentary pleasure, in the happy moments with the King of good times. So instead of seeking the goodness for all, what all we are doing is living like an island in the sea, engaged in one's own pleasure, in seeking pleasure, in seeking happy moments with the King of good times. Well, the choice of my phrases and terms may have driven one thing, that the evil strikes us at our very desire, at our very search for happiness, joy, and perhaps also goodness. We search goodness for ourselves. When that transmutes into the goodness for others, it is the real goodness, according to the poetic vision of Rabindranath Tagore. When the problem guises itself as a solution to a spectrum of problems, when it camouflages into a good angel, and there lies the tricky situation, there lies the vastness of the problem. Evil does not come as evil. Evil comes as a solution to your problems. Evil comes and strikes you when you think that act will bring a solution, at least a short-term solution to all my problems. And there lies the problem of the problem. We fall in the trap unaware, perhaps most of the times unaware, most of the times we fall in the trap unaware, without the knowledge of the facts, that it will drag us away from reality, away from truth, in our pursuit of happiness, in our pursuit of pleasure, we are all engrossed and engaged in satisfying our senses, in satisfying our desires that comes from the vital self. We try to satisfy our sense organs. This pursuit of satisfying our sense organs, this search for pleasure is endless, is tiring, is very tiring, and sometimes demeaning, for the thirst can never be quenched, and the boundary of desire enlarges. As you reach one boundary, it expands. As you reach the outer boundary, it again expands. And it never ends. It never ends. We have a lot of desires in our life. We have the primary desire of this consumer society is to get more and more money, to satisfy our want for our want for commodities and things. We want more. Suppose I have a Samsung mobile, I need an iPhone. When I got an iPhone, I need the iPhone latest model, and so on and so forth and so on and so forth. I have a television, I need a flat television, Flatron first, then came LED, then came LCD, then came LED, then came smart LED, then came curved LED, all. So many features. So the desire to satisfy our eyes never ends. Okay. So we have a lot of desire. One is this, then the carnal desire, intellectual desire for seeking superiority over others, over the rest of the world, seeking to soothe the sense organs, etc. Our eyes, our ears, Sony, Bose, and get on JBL, more. Where it ends? Suppose it may not end, because every time science is trying to furnish and develop the technology to satisfy your sense organs in a better way. So it is good because we are expanding our boundaries every time. But it is only good, it will do greater good if we merge this pursuit with the universal pursuit, the pursuit of the universal force, and seeking the unity and synthesis of that universal desire with our own desire. So, evil. Now we come to define evil. What is evil? Evil is the opposite of good. Evil means wickedness. Evil is undesirable. Evil is the opposite of light. It is darkness. It is inauspicious and it is harmful. What are the different types of evils? So if we want to know what are the different types of evil, we must know what is the human personality made up of. Human personality, according to Rishi Aurobindo, is made up of physical being, vital being, mental being, and psychic being. Now this physical being, that is the organs, the sense organs, these are driven by the vital being, and this vital being is again driven by the mental being, and this mental being and all these beings, this mental, physical and vital, is controlled by the psychic being. The psychic is at the highest level or the highest stage of a man's being or personality, which controls all the rest. Okay, it is very obvious, we don't have what is so-called a very great psychiatrist. We don't have a psychosomatic medicine that cures the diseases. Psychiatric diseases are mostly cured by counseling, constant monitoring and care. It's hardly solved by taking medicines, because we don't know. 95% of the brain of the human mind and the human psychology is unknown, is untouched even after so much progress. It is just like the problem of evil. Even after years of so many sermons, so many tenets, texts, books written by thousands and thousands of people, thousands and thousands of philosophers, thousands and thousands of sages, saints all over the world, we still have not get rid of this problem. This is a perennial problem, because according to the vision of Rabindranath, he said that, what he said, when there is creativity, there will be imperfection, and according to him, all imperfections are evils. So if there is creativity, there will be evil. Okay. The creator. Well, now the interesting question is, we human beings are fallible. When we create something, there is a scope of some flaws in the thing that is created. But God is perfect. God is a perfect creator, and we have God. God is synonymous with perfection. God is synonymous with omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. Then why is He creating something which is having flaws in it? Well, this question has been answered by Rabindranath later on in this essay. He says that the God has created these imperfections only to give a scope to the humans to invoke His power into the universe and solve those imperfections, and to get rid of these imperfections. Perhaps this is the way the God wants to test the wonderfulness, the uniqueness of His creation, that is the human being. Because evil is a concept which exists only in human society. It does not exist in the animal world or in any other animal world. It is perhaps existing with the human society. And when we have conceived this concept, it must be a hope, is a ray of hope, that we will understand its importance, we will understand the importance of getting rid of evil, and we will invoke the power of God to get rid of our society, ourselves, and our earth and universe out of this problem. So, evil is undesirable, but it exists. It is coexisting on this earth. Evil touches different aspects of our life, as I told you, the vital aspect, the physical aspect, the mental aspect, and the psychic aspect. Depending on the time, distance, space, and nature of the evil. Mental evils are, what are the mental evils? Well, the biggest mental evil is greed. It can be love, it can be hatred, it can be desire for money, power, or sex. Now, desire for money, power, and sex has been given a lot of importance, has been given a lot of stress by many philosophers, because this is the mother of many other evils in one's own self, as well as in the society, as well as in the life of the society. Then you have success and failure. That can be also evil. Success can also be an evil. Don't think that the positive Words always brings positiveness in everyone. Love, well, love can degenerate into passion. Passion can degenerate into mania. Mania can degenerate into, what is it called? Obsession. So these are the different aspects of love. Now we are near the Valentine's Day, when you will see many other evils associated with the day. Some will try to pick those couples who are trying to be very cozy in the open, in the public places. Some will try to say that this is evil. To nearness, togetherness is evil. I don't think togetherness and nearness is evil. But yes, we must also observe the rules of the society, the rules of decency in public places. So evil, what is evil? Every aspect of human being is evil. Money is good, money is bad. Love is good, love is bad. Hatred is most of the time bad, but sometimes good as well. Success is good, success is bad. So every aspect has its opposite aspect as well. Love degenerates into what I said. Love degenerates into passion degenerates into mania may degenerate into obsession may degenerate into hatred, and ultimately you will see that best friend you love, you started to hate that friend because of no reason, because of your obsessiveness with your own self-desire. When the desire does not express into the way you have thought of, you think that that turns into hatred. That brings out hatred out of you. So these are the mental levels. Now we come to physical levels. Physical levels are very well known: diseases, disabilities, injury. And vital levels are seeking pleasure. Our vital being always wants to give pleasure to its organs. It does not want to work hard. It does not want to these hands does not want to touch the hot things, the hard things, the rough edges. It always wants to get velvety touch, smooth touch, silky touch, soft touch. I had all of them engrossed in this pursuit, then we would not find many new inventions, because we would not have factory workers, we would not have many adventurous persons in this world. So seeking pleasure is a very important evil that the vital being of man is always engaged in. Now, sense organs. How many sense organs are there? There are 5 sense organs. Normal science says that, but in spirituality, you have another sense organ in your body, and that causes havoc. That wreaks havoc in us. That sense organ, controls the whole being of the man. The whole being of the man. Be it vital, be it psychic, be it mental. When you are young, when you are growing hormones, when the hormones grow in you, you just get engrossed in seeking pleasure in that. This is an evil which every growing human being, every growing man or woman faces in his life. And this can be controlled. This can be controlled with ease under the able guidance, at least of your near and dear ones, of your parents, of your teachers. But the point is, there are some who does not care to discuss this. Neither the parents nor their words. They avoid discussion on this. That is also an evil, because you have gone through these stages, and you must be open to discuss these things. So psychic. Now next comes the psychic evils. Psychic evils are fear. Fear is a psychic problem, because you have seen many people after in this part of the region there was an earthquake. There was severe earthquake. There was a severe earthquake for consecutive 2 to 3 years, and after that I have heard some people who are having this problem, of vertigo like problem. When they go up, when they go to the first floor or second floor, they can't stand, they can't sleep. So they have in fact left their flats and went on rent to a ground floor flat. So this is psychic fear. This is psychic fear. This is an evil, and this is an evil which has deep seated into that soul. You have to get rid of it. So psychic fear, mostly the psychic fear breeds on two things: fear and desire, dream. Fear and dream, these are both the psychic problems and psychic evils, and these are exploited by most of us in order to drive our own agenda in the society. Fear and dream, this can be easily sold to the people. These are easily taken by the people. Death, fear of death is many of us have this problem. Fear of death, unknown, fear of the unknown. Oh, I had taken one puff of cigarette, I might have this in the later stages of my life. Every day he will puff 1 or 2, and then he will think about it and spend at least half an hour on that unnecessary, unwanted thoughts. We have another problem, another psychic problem: intoxication with not substance. Is the intoxication of substance. I'm not talking about intoxication with ideas and ideologies. This is one big problem that we are facing today. We are all getting hardened in our ideologies and ideologues, and forgetting the greater good of the society. Okay. All these are examples, cursory examples. They never can be exhaustive, because man's problem of evil depends on his mental, physical, vital growth and what is this called, resistance. It will touch different people differently. Even a small dose of evil may have a greater effect on a person who has not grown, who has not been trained to grow and restrain those external stimulus. But as per my the biggest problem, the biggest evil I think that man is being faced today is the problem of dementia. Now, what is dementia? Dementia means forgetfulness. Not only forgetfulness, it is what I should say. Today it is something like that. Well, nothing has happened. Kuch nahi hua yaar. Chalta hai. So this is the big problem. This is the biggest evil that every human being is facing today. Even they perhaps in their deep thought, in their deep inner self, understand this, that it is a problem, but they don't see to acknowledge it. They see it as a way of moving ahead, a way of marching ahead in life. The greatest problem that has touched the human being in the postmodern age is the evil of dementia at the mental and the psychic plane. I give an instance. Suppose an overspeeding car knocks down a pedestrian crossing the road at the darkness of the night in the deserted corner or suburb of a city, and he does not of getting, because of the fear of getting caught, He speeds away from the spot of accident, leaving behind the poor soul to fend for himself. Okay, this is the scene. You may ask, who was at fault? Now, this question is immaterial, because the greater question is, there is a potential probability of loss of life of human being. There is a potential probability of getting grievously injured. So now question is whether lives of all human beings are treated equal. As per my personal knowledge, experience, we are facing this problem. All lives are not treated equal on this earth. Though we have been learning this, we have been reading this in moral sense every day. All lives are precious. All lives of creatures are precious, be it man, plants, animals, all are equal. This is a general truth, but no one is following this. Even human lives are bearing the stamp of many considerations, many criteria. What society he belongs to, what strata of the society he belongs to, what is his economic capability, what is his knowledge, what is his political standing. These are very important things that infuses values to a human life. How educated, how civilized. Now, to our dismay, certainly to our dismay, in this educated and civilized society, we have reached to such a state of psychic development that we find lives have different values depending on the strata, the profession, and other aspects which are better not touched upon in this apolitical and non-religious discussion. But it is a truth. When accepted, it gives the time to find the comic reason in such hallucinated assumptions. Now I can go back to the original scene. The man drives past the scene. Hereafter, do you think he may spend the rest of his life in the pangs of anxiety? In the dreaded thought of committing an evil, which no one may know, but the truth, the Almighty may know. Or will he surrender to self and ask for forgiveness and for the goodness and peace and health of the poor soul lying on the road? Normal man may assume it to be true, and it should be the case in 90% or 99% of the cases. But to our dismay, we forget our evil deeds once we escape the evil or harsh consequences that it should have brought upon us. On the top of it, our fanciful imagination and logic tries to justify our acts of ignorance, bravado, intemperance, and justify a king. I don't care anybody. I am the last word. This is only a scene from the man's life which has been projected before you. He escaped the immediate consequences of his misdeed. But if you could have seen the whole timeline, the timeline of his whole life, it would definitely and invariably be observed that the man's actions and words is retributed. It gets balanced, and divine nemesis does happen in the lifetime itself. And this is what has been told in Gita as well. Your karma, your actions will bring you the desired results, the fruits in your life. Maybe instantaneously, or in a later stage, or even in the next generation of your life. So if I commit a mistake, I may get the result of it, or my son may get it, or my son's son, or my lineage, anyone in my progeny may get it. And that is what has been predicted in Hindu astrology as well. Your problem, your actions will not bring you problem always, but it may bring problem to you in a different manner. So actions and words definitely has its effects on yourself, later or sooner or later. The deeds of and words of the man haunts his whole life, and perhaps even the lives of others, and the balance is struck by way of retribution or nemesis at any other point of time, which may remain noticed or unnoticed. Now, when there is a problem, there must be a solution. The solution that Rabindranath has spoken of and stressed is highlighted, in his words itself. So, what is that problem, and what is the solution of this problem? The solution to this problem is moving ahead, is not being static, by the inertia of inertness. You have to move ahead in life. You cannot stay quiet out of the fear of committing evil, out of committing errors, intellectual errors, out of committing misjudgments. You have to do your work. You have to go ahead in life, having faith in the light of God, having faith in the divine grace. So, in the vision of Rabindranath, imperfection evil is not absolute or ultimate. In its essence, the very essence of it is impermanence, transience. Evil is not permanent. Truth is always permanent in life. It is like the waves. Evil is like the waves which touches us and goes away. And if we don't have any receiver or magnet pre-installed in us, it will just temporarily touch and pass us away. Okay, it is only to make us to realize that God is absolute and perfect. His creations are made imperfect so that we can aspire to complete His creations and give perfections to them by invoking the universal will, the will of God. So, yes, evil is now how to deal with the problem of evil. When something or some idea or some thought or some physical problem has struck you, you must not fight with it, because the more you fight with it, the more it will try to try to resist your forces. You just accept it. Give a smile to yourself. Well, this has struck me. It is not permanent. It is not going to stay within me forever. It will go over, and let it have its own act, and let it have its own try its own power. It will not succeed, because ultimately it will bow down and go away. It will move away from yourself. But if you give a resistance to it by giving reasoning, thought, imagination, dream, it will stay. It will take more time inside. It will stay more time inside you, because it will also try to resist you, your force. So Rabindranath says, never resist, be calm, give a smile to yourself, give a smile and tell yourself, and you seek the power of the universal force, your psychic being, to get rid of it. And ultimately the light of thought, the light of divine grace will help you out of this problem. So I would say life is in the joy of the journey of moving ahead, negating the inertia of consequences. Ultimate reality lies in the realization of ultimate reality lies in the realization of truth, beauty, good, and ananda or bliss, which is attained by the harmonious synthesis among all these values. So the ultimate reality lies in the realization of truth, beauty, good, ananda, or bliss. This is the ultimate truth in every aspect of one's being. If one can assimilate, synthesize these values in every aspect, in every scene, in every circumstances that he gets into, he will get rid of evil. Now this is the first part of my critical appreciation. Friends, if you do like it, do share and give comments. Thank you so much. I will continue in my next video on the next and final part of it. Thank you so much. Thank you, friends.